добрый день.
Dear friends, we are happy to welcome you at our seminar. Today's scientific research seminar, The Secret Doctrine by Yelena Petrovna Blavatsky, and we are wishing you a great and fruitful work. We're happy to see all those who could connect today with us, and we're happy that you're ready to work intensely today as one single team. Dear friends, International Scientific Research Seminar The Secret Doctrine by Elena Petrovna Blavatsky is officially open. Today, our speakers, the members of the scientific research group, have prepared their material, their lectures, their comments for the fourth sloka of second stanza Xian. And our seminar will begin with an introduction word, a message, as usual, by Vladimir Vasilievich Yar, the president of the Adamant Lodge of Russia, the director of the Moscow School of Theosophy. You are welcome. Greetings to all our friends. We shall start, as usual, with the thought of the day by Elena Petrovna Blavatsky from the Pearl of East. And today is the 30th of April. The higher self knows that highest home of Brahman, which contains all and shines so bright. The wise who, without desire and happiness, worship that self are not born again. And here we may draw your attention to the fact that the wise who worship that higher self are not born again. And here, the first thought that comes to mind is the system of Mahayana, the great courage that allows to get liberation in only one life, to achieve the state of not being born again in this world, in this ignorant state of mind. Yet we should understand that there will be births, yet they will be at the higher level when the person is free and illuminated in this life and will serve the higher forces, the supreme ones. Today's combination of nidanas is very significant. First of all, if we start talking about this actual combination of nidanas and the connection of causes and consequences is crucial because this connection brings the essence of veils of Maya, this primordial form for our consciousness to develop manas or mahata, the world mind, the universal mind. Of course, in every individual person, we may see this principle, the principle of mahata or manas, which manifests itself in us as a supreme or higher ego. Hence, if we become or if we go to the path of evolutionary development of our mind, we should understand this connection between causes and consequences, these nidanas, this chain that brings them together, that unites them. So today's nidanas are the following: the era of Aquarius, the nidana of the blue monkey, which is the Hierophantus of this sector, the zodiac sign. Why are we in this constellation? It is the necessity of evolutionary flow in which we are getting into in this era of Aquarius. The era of Aquarius is a very important cycle for humanity, which is necessary for the human being to have only one aspiration, only one intention to the unity with the others. This notion of the unity with others completely eliminates the closure, which is symbolized as greed, so that there is no greed state of the human soul, and the greedy is the one who always wants to satisfy our mundane desires. And according to this aspiration, this person, this kind of greedy mind, is in the illusion of Maya, which darkens his mind and doesn't let him see the reality, the supreme reality, which is the real uh, life reality. So this is the era we are going into, and the monkey is the symbol of harmony and beauty. And this factor is very important. The symbol of harmony and beauty brings the law of reason, and these qualities of the single principle of this nidana, so that for a person to get and to keep this harmony, we need to overcome this closure, the greed or the uh, selfishness, and we need to go to a different level. Such formula as the common good, the aspiration to the common good, the unity with the others. You know, the most difficult on the earth for a man is the communication. Even though we are communicating all the time, here is a paradox. The human being communicates all the time, yet he's always in some kind of its own bubble, which defines our communication according to the uh, space defined by our consciousness, defined in its turn by karma or desires. And it is very difficult to get out of this state. I would say that it is the most important step, which is the preliminary for the future development of the human mind. The year of the black tiger. And now I will explain you this combination. The century of white dragon, only the century of white dragon, so the white element, the ether, and the rest of the elements, year, months, week, are black. So the year of the black tiger, months of the black hare, the week of the black rooster, the day of the black Taurus. And this day of the black Taurus focused in itself all Nidanas, including the era of the Aquarius, the blue monkey. After the black Taurus, we should talk about a very important factor of the activity, which is realization. The realization of primordial, initial, I would say, initial level or step to manifest in ourselves by seeing the ignorance in us. And this is the realization, the consciousness, the awareness of our own ignorance and its burden. And this realization gives the power to get rid of the shackles. And in this case, we start our ascent. That is where the realization of the Black Taurus is, which goes under the ray of Jupiter. The energy which tells us about being a student, about the warmth, about our heart warmth. The Jupiter tells us about it, which means, of course, only then the heart will be open when the human being being ignorant and limited and feeling these limits, he is applying all his efforts to get out of it, out of this corner. And here is the power of realization of the Taurus, which is in the constellation of Capricorn in this promised Earth. You know, here is the state which I would call the state that everybody aspires to. Everybody wants to get to this promised Earth, promised land. This land is paranirvana. Yeah, in its esoterical sense. And as you may know, from the 1st of May of this month, which starts tomorrow, there will be the sacred Buddhist month of Taurus. This month of the first land, which brings the principle of the black rooster. The black rooster opens this month, the month of May. And this month, Buddha achieved the liberation. He achieved paranirvana. And this moment when this month became sacred for Buddhists, they celebrated the 1st of May. It is the 15th moon day. Is very important. And it falls to the 16th of May. So this month, the Buddhists start their spiritual practices very actively because they believe that in this day we start to have our possibilities of spiritual achievements. They multiply by thousands. It is a very unique month when the Buddhists do their spiritual practices very accurately and actively. And we understand why. Because in the constellation of Taurus, there is all potentiality of the mind capacities to perceive the reality. As a matter of fact, this is the state to which we all aspire in our spiritual practices to reveal this potentiality. And how does it manifest? The black monkey, the black rooster, the blue dog, the blue boar, and the fire mouse, they are the nidanas, the chain of which expresses the clarity of mind, the powers, the forces that let us concentrate our attention on the mind stillness, calmness, so that the imprints of ideas, plans of Akasha may be fixed by our mind. By doing this, we contribute into the clarity and precision of the mindful actions. We have to know how to turn the ideas into thoughts. Then the thoughts become clear, precise, and it is very easy to work with them, to operate them, let's say, because then we act within the law. We are in tune, in harmony with this law. And because of this harmony, this rhythm of the music of spheres, we naturally reveal our potential capacity to meditate and to participate in the evolutionary process of the human mind development. This month is defined by this sacred beginning of the very important spiritual practice which makes a human genius thousands times stronger. Exactly in this sector, we have the black rooster, the symbol of this month. And the black rooster also symbolizes the magnificence, the word, the logos. This is the voice of silence, that primordial logos, which is not manifested. So here is the esotericism of this month. We have to hear the non manifested, and in front of the black rooster, we see the black hair. The black hair symbolizes our week, and here is that in the spiritual growth of the wheel of time, which is symbolized by the constellations of Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, and the constellation of Leo. Now we see the enrichment with the possibilities so that the human being may use them by developing in ourselves according to the initial knowledge symbolized by the black hair, which have their contrary as the black rooster, as the joy. The knowledge will let us hear the voice of silence. Why? Because the cognition gives us the power of cognition. The year of black tiger as a masculine principle uh, gives the possibility for the female energy, the black hair, reflect the birth of the spiritual person, because the black tiger is the symbol of conception of the spiritual person, and the black hair tells about the birth of the spiritual person. You see, the conception and tiger and the hair gives birth. That's why the hair is the symbol of the birth and death. These two notions in the hair exist in this primordial knowledge. The material mind dies, the mind of materialist, and the spiritual mind, the soul, has to be born, or the possibility of the spiritual sense and sensitivity, the feeling of our spiritual nature. And Akasha, the symbol of Fohat, is the creative power of the universal mind. Uh, so if you imagine it for yourself, we have had a look at the esoterical side, the depths of this month. And now, if we are talking about the sacred day where we are today, It is a unique day. It is the 15th moon day, which opens for us the 16th. It means we will live half of month in this energy, half of month of our tension by sensing the possibilities, and then we'll have half of months to affirm them. This is the connection for the cause and effect relation. First, we have to bring it together and then to affirm it. And today it's the fourth Sloka of the second stanza, Dzyan. Your heart had not yet opened for the one way to enter, thence to fall as 3 into 4 into the lap of Maya. And now I give the floor to you, dear friends. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much, dear Vladimir Vasilyevich. Now we know exactly in what energies and in nidanas we are today. And what is very important is that these strong nidanas contribute to our scientific research seminar. And the first speaker that we are welcoming today is Hwang, the doctor of philosophy, the professor of the art school, South Korea. Mr. Hwang, please, you're welcome to present your lecture. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Today, we are talking about the first sloka of a second stanza. It is about the soul, the important soul. Where's the first sloka of a second stanza states that her heart had not yet opened for the one ray to enter, thence to fall as 3 into 4 into the level of Maya. The important word here is the one ray, one radiation, which is the Animamundi as a Latin word, which is equal to word soul. It's about soul. The illustration of the correspondences between all parts of the created cosmos with the Animamundi depicted as a woman. You can see the picture, the woman, the lady represents the Animamundi, which is the world soul. Madame Blavatsky used it as a synonym for Alaya. Alaya is the Buddhism word. She wrote Animamundi, that the soul of world, the same as the Alaya of the Northern Buddhist, the divine essence which permeates, animates, and informs all from the smallest atom of matter to man and God. It is, in a sense, the seven-skinned mother of the stanzas in the secret doctrine, the essence of 7 planes of sentience, consciousness, and differentiation, moral and physical. In its highest aspects, it is a nirvana. In its lowest, astral light. It was feminine with the Gnostics, the early Christians, and the Nazarenes, bisexual with other sex, who considered it only in its 4 lower planes of igneous, ethereal nature in the objective world of form, and then either the divine and the spiritual in its 3 higher planes, when it is said that every human soul was born by detecting itself from the Animamundi. It means esoterically that our higher egos are from an essence identical with it, which is the radiation of the ever unknown universal absolute. The origin of our soul is original universal absolute. Change that. Literally means soul of world, Animamundi. It is used in both the larger sense of being the soul of the cosmos and the more limited sense of the soul of a globe. In its larger sense, it is equivalent to the alaya of Buddhism. In its low aspects, it is the astral light and the lower levels of akasa. The Asians, such as Aquarius, consider that the soul is born into the world when it leaves the soul of the world, or Animamundi. Animamundi means the soul, world soul. In relation to Animamundi, let me introduce the 5 precepts in Buddhism. 5 precepts are: first, abstaining from killing life. Second, abstaining from stealing. Third, abstaining from sexual misconduct. Fourth, abstaining from telling lies. Fifth, abstaining from intoxicating drinks and drugs. If you are not ascended master, you must go to the causal retribution, comeuppance of Buddhism in the next life. Causal retribution, comeuppance of Buddhism, good karma in this life, promises good luck in the next life, and give the rebirth as the human again. However, the evil karma during this life imposes bad luck in the next life and give the rebirth as a lowly creature like a snake. The living thing in biological sense, the living thing means the DNA. So the definition of the living thing, life, is equal to DNA in the modern times. So it was found in 1953 by Watson and Crick model. You can see the picture of the DNA. So this is the representation of the living thing in biological aspect, biological science. I'm talking about the Animamundi. This is the about the stem cell. The stem cell is a human or not? I mean, the life or not? You know, there are 4 steps of the embryology of life. First step is the egg cell. Second, fertilized egg. Third, attachment to the body, and first, embryo. So the stem cell is taken from second step, fertilized egg. So if we use the stem cell is alive or not, is killed or not. If it is killing life, it will be retribution. This is bad karma. So comeuppance will be come. And remember the first precept is no kill, no killing. Abstaining from killing any life. If you kill the life or a living thing, then you never go to the ascended area like heaven, because you are violated the first precept, because you are polluted by the evil karma. That means the retribution or comeuppance as earlier. This is the table of the definition of the life. You know, the DNA, all kinds of, the examples are first the human beings, second animals, and third birds and fishes and COVID virus and plants. These are all have a DNA. So these are all life science. There's a typing error. in the life science at the bottom, plants must be circle, not cross. But in Buddhism, the human being, animals, birds, fishes are alive, lives, but the virus, plants are not lives, because there is no Animamundi. We can kill the virus, we can kill the plants, we can eat the vegetables, we can cut the woods without violation of the first precept. Remember, no killing. The first precept, we can eat and cut the woods because of there is no Animamundi, no souls by the in the Buddhism only. A brain dead for organ transplant, in the hospital, remember that in the hospital, or human embryo for stem cell can become a living thing or an inanimate object, depending on the mindset of the person who harms it, in the limit of cognition, which is the prophecy of the concept of the life. The scope of being changes by subjective value. If you sell and buy organ of a dead body for organ transplant or human embryo for stem cell extraction, then you kill the living things by the evil purpose, and you cannot go to the earth and area like heaven. The first precept, remember, no kill. You violate no kill. First precept, if you buy and sell, that kind of things. Thank you very much. This is all I prepared today. Thank you.
Спасибо большое. Интересный доклад.
Thank you so much. It was such an exciting report, especially this inclination to the form, because 3 fall into 4, definitely. And we can summarize it in this phrase, and it was an exciting report. Mr. Hwang, thank you so much. You brought us into this medical sphere that is closer to the physical body. Of course, it's important to remember that currently we are still in the 3rd Sloka of 2nd stanza, and it's not revealed plan. Of course, once it will be revealed in a human person, and thank you so much for reminding us of the 5th main principles of Buddhism. Dear friends, we're proceeding with our seminar, and today we host St. Petersburg, Mr. Roshchupkin, Doctor of Physical and Mathematical Sciences, St. Petersburg Polytechnic University, Russia, St. Petersburg. Mr. Roshchupkin, welcome. Hello, dear friends. I'd like to today consider Sloka 4 of Stanza 2nd from the point of view of a theorist, and show the connection between the modern physics and the principles of Theosophy revealed in the secret doctrine of our great compatriot, Madame Blavatsky. And before showing this connection, I'd like to stop at fundamental revelations of the 20th century in physics. As these revelations let us look from the point of view of physics upon the theosophical principles and the stanzas. I'd like to note initially that in the 20th century, the 2 fundamental physical theories were revealed: the theory of relativity and the quantum theory. And these were the 2 sciences that led the humanity rebuild the whole understanding of the world And we are still in this process, it's not over yet. I'd like to pose your attention to the fact that in the middle of the 20th century, physics and the physicists understood for the first time that any interaction between physical bodies, any kind of interaction, happens through particles that are at the more subtle plane, particles that are not part of our plane. And they were so-called virtual particles introduced into physics. They were born due to quantum mechanics and Heisenberg and the energy of time, non-certitude, let it happen. For these particles, the laws of conservation of energy and impulse do not work. Today, we see the laws developing right now, and development of these principles are the basis of modern science development. These are the information related to these particles that are not part of these common laws. Here we see the slide where there is a physical picture of the descent of the single light, like 3 into 4, into the bubbles of Maya. Here is the first one, the first principles of the divine, or the single ray, that is then divided into 2, the second one and the third one. And these principles are not possible to know. We can say a little about them. And of course, in the stanzas, there is an epical understanding or translation of HPB of the first stanzas, of the first 2 stanzas. The fourth level, or four-heart level, is the intermediary level, lying between these 3 unknown and the 3 lower planes that already accept and are shaped into a particular form. It's important to note that the four-heart plane is the source of all energies and forces and all levels of consciousness. I'm speaking from the point of view of physics, and the physical part of four-heart is four-heart as a source of all energies and forces. Here, in a preliminary image, it's a plane without any shape, but this plane in particular, in next plane, in Akasha plane, it already gives birth to almost all possible variety of the world. The four-heart plane is the source of those virtual primary particles that ensure physical happening of forces at the plane of Akasha. And this theosophical scheme, we say in the stanzas and presented by Madame Blavatsky, fully corresponds to the physical model of the world revealed by physicists in the 20th century. So we confirm the Theosophy, the physicists confirm it, but actually the Theosophy is the basic science, and I think it was what allowed us to make this discovery. I'd like to dwell more on the Akasha plane because it's, we can say, the first plane where the basics of time and space and matter are born. I'd say that at Akasha plane, we see the quantums of space. I call them A quantums, A quanta or quanta of Akasha field, and they give birth to the matter of primary particles or the single element are theoparticles, or particles of the God. These are actually the particles of the God, the primary element. And then there are differentiations at the lower levels, at the lower planes, are where these theoparticles give birth to all chemical substances. Right now, we see just a little spectrum of these substances, and as world develops, it's always renewed, and we always see the new levels.
And here on this slide, you may see the picture showing that Akasha is that first primordial plane which lies in the basis of all possible forms and kinds of matter and consciousness. The Akasha plane is the most important. So on this slide, developing my previously expressed ideas, I would like to say that the contemporary physics has gone a long way with our civilization. There were ideas of primordial ether. For a while, these ideas are left behind because we have the new idea of physical vacuum is the source of all possible of virtual particles or higher planes. Yet the ether, eternal ether, has not gone anywhere, and the contemporary ideas will generate some new uh, notion, yet Akasha is at the basis of it. Everything comes from it. If we are going backwards from the dance forms to the thinner ones, we are going back to the higher planes. That's why it is very difficult to represent Akasha in full. Another very important thought that I would like to express is the following. Today, we know four kinds of interactions which are manifested on our physical plane at the present moment of time, and three kinds of interaction out of these four are quantum fields, in the sense that these fields may be uh, understood by quantum theory. It's electrodynamics, weak interaction, and strong interaction, which means that from our physical point of view in our space and time, we have got some fields, the power fields, which defines chemical properties, nuclear properties of the matter, our matter at this stage of development. And among these four kinds of interaction, we do not have gravitation. It does not get into this form of fields because gravitation is some kind of topology of the space and time. This is the interaction which is connected to the space and time themselves. In this sense, Akasha really is the source of all and the space and time itself. I imagine that the time will come when physicists will understand it. But for the moment, well, they will understand it and they will not try to reduce all interactions or to gravitation, as Einstein tried to do it, or reduce gravitation to the quantum fields, as there are a lot of attempts to do it now, just to unify everything. Uh, which means that there is some more fundamental kind of interaction, which is in Akasha, creates different kinds of space and time, in which later on all kind of physical processes are going on and other processes, which means in Akasha there are other kinds of interaction which do not influence the time and space. They define the character of interaction between the bodies and matter within the time and space. Here, basically, it's the last slide where I would like to show the hierarchy of the planes or worlds, which is given in The Secret Doctrine by Yelena Petrovna Blavatsky. It is just phenomenal. This hierarchy is so great, and it was rediscovered by the physicists in the 20th century. And understanding of this hierarchy between the worlds is going on today. Thank you very much for your attention. Yes, thank you very much. Well, there are a lot of wrong concepts, because we have got a system, and what Yelena Petrovna Blavatsky shows us is not something that physicists even may think about. The point is that all manifested, because there is no plane of Akasha, no plane of forehead, because these are the energies of life, the breathing which goes through all the planes of being, and we cannot just fix them on one plane of being. It just only may be called that this energy exists on this plane. It is present there. That's why this limitation. You see, this limitation accepts the spiritual power, I would say, because we're just trying to intellectualize everything. We try to understand everything logically, even when we are talking about the spirit without forms. We are trying to humanize it somehow. We should be really careful with these energies. Thank you very much for your lecture. Sergey Pavlovich, thank you very much for your interesting lecture, for the scheme, for the thoughts and ideas. We have got several questions for your lecture, and in the end of our seminar, we will give you the floor so that you can comment on them. But our scientific research seminar is going on, and we are happy to welcome our colleague from Finland, the Theosophical Society of Finland, Blavatsky Lodge, Madam Ritva Latvi. Thank you very much for connecting, for being here today with us, for sending us your lecture, your material. We are happy to give you the floor.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to tell something, this Sloka, in my way, because this is very difficult to me, but I deal this that way. First, I reference little first tree of life, what to mean, and then something how this Sloka connect human development, and then last what to mean if we look at what to mean in to yoga and our mind and awareness. And yes, when Sergey talks, you don't need to look at paper, but I have to look paper all the time because English is difficult. I must follow my paper. There is the first reference to knowing life. Life can only be known through the tree of life. This means advice for yoga. What means is here. Her heart had not yet opened for the one ray. What are as the tree in the board in the lap of Maya? We can look at cosmological. We can look at it cosmological, but I try to approach that subject from perspective of man, microcosmos way. But the first few aspects of the life of tree to which HPP reference. I look at in Wikipedia, there is a lot of photos, Tree of Life, and but I think so that is very clear, and there is 10 serifs. How man can understand as the Tree of Life? The Kabbalists use that symbolize in particular. It's an emanation of the Absolute. There are 10 sephiras in the Tree of Life, and serifas manifestate something attributes of God. And there is first serifas Keter and embodies unity, and later Malkut embodies the border reality. The Kabbalist navigates the path of serifas to divine unity. Monad becomes materialized from the spirit. It's a question of esoteric philosophy and independent wisdom tradition. And there, the Tree of Life can be approached through the awakening consciousness in a person. And if you look this, if you see these 10 serif, there is first crown of pure consciousness. It's a symbolized beginning explosion, and there you can use also synonyms will, atma, and Zeus. And second serif is wisdom and dedication. Can use also word light. And 3, understanding, but its needs require listening. It's an oral way to teach. There is Elohim, Isis, and Saint Maria. 4 is grace and goodness of heart, and can say love, and Wotan. Wotan is Germanic god, but I found also in ancient wisdom there is used also one god named Wotan. 5, strength, we can say fire, also Gabriel, or Thor, or Horus. Beauty and harmony is 6. There is Osiris, Jesus, Ra, Buddha, Sun. 7 is Victoria. Can also use prayer, eternal patience. 8 is honor. There is thought, Anubis, Hermes, ritual, and Mason. Yep. 9 phases, communication, sexual energy, and Christian tradition used Holy Spirit. And 10 kingdom can use also pride and manifestation of matter and spirit. But we can look at also this tree of life. It's the same when people waking and consciousness wake up in a person. It's the same as than path in yoga, meditation, and tantra. Underlying this is the central principle of unity, which permits levels, all levels. We can look at things at a lower mental level, physical level, this human development example, at a higher mental level, abstract level, and the Buddhist level, the last level. I try to approach from the perspective of human development, remembering the serial law on the sevenfold, remembering how to so-called spirit transformation itself into matter, and matter re-emerges with spirit. Can I say, just there is more. When we look at newborn baby, we can ask, where did you come from? Who are you? And second photo, there is casket. Similarly, when we look at the dead person, we can ask, where did you go? Who were you? We can understand when person is physical present and when he is not. But what is left of man when he is not physical manifested? Human evolution manifesting according to cosmic model. Embryo in womb. This photo is this book I used some writing on the occult philosophy of life, HPP's books, very old book in Finnish translated, something very old. But this is very good photo because there is just what happened. Human evolution is manifested according to cosmic model. Cosmic process and its 7 equivalents and comfortable the womb. The cosmic seas that contents the end universe, the burst bubble on the surface on the unlimited one of the kind space. The beginning in Brahma's egg. Astrological and astronomical, it's correspondent to sun. And I find just one morning and 2 days ago, Rigveda, there is this text, knowing that you divine nature identified with the sun is a causal of life. As in cosmological of esotericism, there are 7 inner and 7 outermost layers in the womb of the mother, which a copy of the events of the womb of the universe. In the human process, embryo contains human being with all his or her possibilities. Worldly embryo present supernatural principle, we can say Atma. This ammonium fluid sees from embryo, it's a called prana at the level matter, which is the omnipotent principle of life. It emanates from the one life, science calls its energy, from the heart of man and Buddha with a 7 sunbeam whose role. Physical, the heart, human side beginning beat with embryo about 25 days old child, and then began different parts, example, brain come after that. But there is every part, there is same system, 7, when you look at all what there are, there is my 7. Embryo, cosmic seeds, allantois, lower prana or jiva, principle of life, ammonium water, manas or astral life, ammonium water, but there is very, very thin membranes, and there is akasa and putti. There is 2 sides. If you look at this photo, ammonium water is around this kind. But ammonium water, this membranes, then later become 3rd layer of the magnetic vital aura in human. Yeah, Phytologist, there is Kama, which Finnish say Naparakkula, and there is Korion, it outermost layer of man, and there is just 8. That is right photo 8, because there is, we know how after verdicization seal, how is development continue rapidly in the division, in differentiation, and as the secret manifestation describe the worst manifestation of nature. There is circle and 1 point of the birth, and then division beginning. Father's and mother's DNA is already duplicated or replicated, thus transferencing hereditated knowledge. We see karmic traces there. Man is born at certain time and certain place and was certain parents. That is causal body. And the seeds of consciousness exist before birth. Human has not landed on the earth of lap before the 12 links start working. And if you look at what Buddhists speak when human development in womb, Buddhists speak of energy, elements, winds, and there is same process also death, but different way. When person die, these elements, how can I say, attachment, and there is different states in Bardo. And can I see photo 9? There is text of Bhagavad Gita. At what Bhagavad Gita said when human born of human will die. As a person shed worn out garments and wear new ones likewise, at the time of death the soul casts of its worn out body and encounters a new. This is something as aspects of development human. But then I want to talk little yoga about what there is. There is photo 10. The Patanjali Yoga Sutra has excellent picture of the process, how mind works in yoga. This is Finnish, but you see there is, I think so, maybe Sanskrit, but there is first elements, and then is sense, and there is mind, and last there is Atma, there is mean Buddha and mind. And if you look at what how mind works in yoga, can I get, there are 5 elements. You know these elements, there is earth, fire, water, air, and space. And this yoga began thinking it is a cessation of the tendency mind, a man, freedom, distraction. This is deep idea in yoga. But there is very interesting book also. Now I speak little Uttara Tantra. Can I, very interested book also, because this little same thinking, I think so. And there is those who sees aspiration for the supreme jnana, whose mother is Priyana, organizer of the Buddha's qualities, for whom meditate stability is a comfortable warmth. The compassion or nourishment, there are sons of the Buddha's born. Birth of Bodhisattva can be compared to birth of the child. This quality of Priyana is compared to mother because semen needs special environment, and the warmth represents meditation. This quality of Priyana needs a favorable environment of meditation to reach full development. The great idea is practice it by moving from the manifested to unmanifested in meditation. Khenchen Tranko Rinpoche has said, the nature mind is already its peace. It's earthly poor, perfect and empty. And Dilko Kyentse wrote, once you realize absolute truth, you will see what appears within whole infinite display a relative phenomenon. But having you first understand pure intellectual, the development first-hand experience and confidence in the oneness of appearance and pointness. This realization of inseparability of the two truths, it's a profound experience, completely beyond any intellectual concept. This is the yoga is simplicity. The true voidness is truth of everything. Voidness is fact, is the makes it possible for infinite phenomena to appear. Contemplating that the mind is like space empty, but containing potential. The idea is like a ray that manifests on the sun, on the surface of the mind, but through meditation we activate the building of bridge between lower and higher consciousness. And more, I want to a little borrow Christian tradition, very nice book, new book, Universal Christ, and very 2019, it's related to Finnish. Franciscan famous priest Richard Rohr writes, "Defined archetypal formula for spiritual waking that shifts people from what they thought they felt to what they fully recognizable." He take example from Bible, example Moses. "I found what was always before my eyes, this a gate of God." On other example, "God revealed his son in me." Knowing God is in yourself, it's a matter of inner knowledge. As a result of the inter experience, as a lesson in the moment of inner fulfillment, you're beginning to understand that you are a member of this universal body. You are moving from I to us. That is very nice one sentence. Everyone can experience that presence through the natural law that written in our hearts. This is everybody possible. He continued, "We all live on circle of cosmic being that is already in force and driving and guiding us forward." He speak, referring also for, as a secret of will of hidden law. He adds that you are never separated from God except in your thoughts. Rosette continues, "Discover of this wonderful to activate only to breath and experience at the cellular level. Every atom you can experience that. Experimental primary level of knowledge is not dualist. This relative level we are dualistic, and maybe we have something problem, a lot of problem if you are thinking karma stains and this dualistic level, we have difficult to understand oneness, but on this spiritual level, we understand oneness and what mean brotherhood core, really what's a mean. And I think so that same similar when Christian tradition, in esoteric Christian tradition, because that's a book have written to common people, nothing only priest and theology, and they're all only people who are practicing spiritual way. And similar in the philosophy of yoga, connection between breath and body. We can say it, body like mountain is stably and stably position, and breath like air when we breathe. And there is same birth and die same time. It's the same pralaya and manvantara if thinking. And air is free, and mind like space, it's infinite in our meditation. HPP stressed the importance of intuition in the study of esoteric secret doctrine. You can read intellectually and see material factors. You can understand abstract concepts and ideas at higher mental level, but really understand teaching of secret doctrine only the level of intuition. However, she wrote this poem represent the 7 main points of the abstract formula. They relate the 7 great states, which the Puranas call the 7 creations. We trying to describe the state of one universal during pralaya before researched first vibration of manifestation. But it is impossible to describe it. Only it can be described so-called negative terms, because it's a state of absoluteness. It has not properties. We cannot say anything. But when we go on other side, we can maybe understand more. Can I see last photo? Who can intuition work? HPP said we have to use intuition, and when secret doctrine group together work and read honest way, they support other, and same time they can more open own way to look at secret world. How we can intuition work in us? When we are free from desires, anger, and ignorance, then the poor mind can to see clearly. Maybe divine ray can then touch us. Let us support each other in this work for awakened awareness, compassion, and wisdom would grow in us.
We thank all our participants and your presentation, dear Ritva Latvia. It was wonderful. Of course, all this information that we gather from different sources just confirms that is written in Elena Petrovna Blavatsky, The Secret Doctrine. Yet let us try to stay within Dhyan. There is a feeling that the secret doctrine, there is not enough information, and we're trying to gather other information from the different sources. But yet we are at the time when we do not need to confirm it, to prove that it is fundamental. Now we all believe that this knowledge is fundamental, and now we will try to go into it and to learn it thoroughly, because every word is eternal, limitless, and has the information field which is absolutely endless, and we can get more and more and more insights from it. We have prepared our presentation as well. We'll try to perceive, to see the key points of the fourth sloka, second stanza Dhyan. Here we go. Your heart had not yet opened for the one ray to enter, thence to fall as 3 into 4 in the lap of Maya. The text itself tells about the whole mystery of this event. The heart of the Matripadma did not open because it was not touched by this one ray. The space of Matripadma itself had not become susceptible for the Fahadic imprints of the divine thought or logos, or the male aspect of the Animamundi, world soul or alaya. When the hour strikes, then your heart opens. But what does it mean? How does it happen? In the beginning, the space of the metropadma itself must become susceptible to the imprints of divine thought, to the poetic imprints. It must reach the equilibrium, which is expressed in reverence. Then, in a state of equilibrium, it is ready to accept the one ray that reaches the heart or the fourth states of the germ. Then the inner potency of the vital force becomes the first form of the unformed. As soon as it happens, then the heart throws down this ray. It differentiates it into the lap of Maya as 3 into 4, and that is the sevenfold light of the one ray. So before the very moment of disequilibrium, the partial pralaya is completed and the dawn of Manvantara is awakened. These are some sort of waves, and at the moment when pralaya and Manvantara have become a single period, a great balance, equilibrium comes into life, and then Metroparma becomes susceptible to the imprints of divine thought. After all, the germ is eternal. It is always there in Pralaya and Manvantara. It is 3. When the one ray touches it, it becomes 4. That is, the germ from potential form becomes a form of life force. This is the heart of the Metropadma. A ray touches it and it opens, accepts this ray and gives it away or throws it down already like a sevenfold light, and differentiation begins at this point. It differentiates, and 3, father, mother, and son turn into 4. The union of these 3 principles depends on the force. This is life, which radiates from the peaks of the unattainable to become diffused in all substance, in all manifested planes of being. This is a brief description of this event. And now we'll try to understand some of the key points and concepts that H.P. Blavatsky gave us. The key point. Fourth sloka is a description of the fourth state of the germ, that is, the heart. The fourth is the aura of the universe. Its light is the purest because the first is the first subtonality of light. It is perfect and incredibly beautiful in its purity. It is an unearthly beauty. There is no admixture of light reflection. That is a denser shade of color. Therefore, the aura appears white or colorless. But in this first septenary, there is an absolutely pure first base of the 7 primary colors. The aura of this period of the universe has perfect primary colors, and only then their correlation will give many shades and combinations of different basic tones of the first 7. That is, the logos becoming a tetragrammaton. A triangle, or 3, becomes 4. There is a reduction of light necessary for the power of its manifestation, and the first basis of this reduction is Kadmon. Kadmon is the first basis because only the limitation of the first reduction of light works in it, unlike the lower worlds where the second reduction already works. That is, the first reduction is heavenly Adam Kadmon. The second reduction is earthly Adam Kadmon. Heavenly Adam Kadmon, we may talk about the tree of Sephiroth or prototype of a man or heavenly man, and on the plane of our perception, 10 Sephiroths carries of the 7 rays of Sephiroth. Adam Kadmon is now in the bosom of Maya. The great illusion has between himself and reality the astral light, the great seducer of man's limited senses, unless knowledge through Paramasatya comes to his aid. Adam Kadmon is the manifested logos, first one, corresponding to the third unmanifested logos. We may say that it is the light of the world. Logos second and third, it's gradually thickening shadows. The earthly Adam Kadmon is the original primordial man, a perfect being whose form is formed by 10 sephiros. Sephiros, numbers of spheres, altogether is the tree of life. The sephiros tree is directed to the opposite direction and it grows with branches down. At the top is the root of all things. This is the creator. From him, the energy descends to man, passing through the sephiros, interconnected by paths or lines or rays. The leaves will fall off when the cycle comes, but the root will remain and give new shoots and leaves, give new lives. This is the cycle. The first Adam Kadmon, heavenly, is the synthesis of the 10 Sephiros. Of these, the upper triad resides in the world of prototypes at the future Trinity, while the 7 lower Sephiros create the manifested material world, and this sevenfold nature is the second Adam Kadmon, or earthly. At the very beginning, there before this itinerary of movement, of the reduction of the light, heavenly and earthly, there must be something that has overcome the great void, and the light of deity could manifest through 10 sephiros. To overcome the void is possible only for spirit, and for this cosmic understanding, only Ein Sof is capable to overcome this emptiness. The final part is called Ein Sof R, limitless light, when the deity created the light by an act of his will and thus separated the darkness. However, this was not the creation of the material world, since these three words mean that is called the three veils of nothingness. The three veils are the three planes of the spirit beyond forms. Ein Sof, limitless or endless, the deity emanating and spreading. This hidden unity is Ein Sof, infinite, boundless, without being as long as the Absolute remains inside eternity of Para Brahman. Ein Sof cannot be the creator or even the shape of the universe. Therefore, Ein Sof is also darkness, yet it has the power of overcoming. The infinite and absolute limitless cannot desire, think, or act, because for this it should be ending or limited, and it does it through its ray, achieving it through the mundane egg or infinite space, proceeding from it as a finite God. And this is given to the ray hidden in the one. When the time comes, the absolute will naturally spreads the power contained in it, according to the law, the inner and ultimate essence of which it is. The ultimate entity is a form. This word ultimate essence is very important. Ein Sof cannot neither be comprehended, nor have the definite place, nor be named, although there is causeless cause of everything. Hence, the name Ein Sof denoting negation, inscrutable, unknowable, and unspeakable, boundless circle, sphere. As Elena Petrovna Blavatsky writes, close your eyes, and from your consciousness try to direct your thought into space in all directions to the extreme limits, and you will see that the equal lines or rays of consciousness extend evenly in all directions, so that the extreme effort of representation will end with the arch of the sphere. The limitation of the sphere will inevitably be a large circle, and the direct rays through it in any direction must be from the straight lines, the radii of the circle. Therefore, thus, humanly speaking, should be an extremely comprehensive concept of the manifested Ein Sof, which is formulated in the form of a geometric figure, namely a circle, with its elements of an accurate circle and rectilinear diameter divided into radii. Consequently, the geometric figure is the first way to comprehend the conception between Ein Sof and the human mind. This great circle, which is reduced by Eastern esotericism to a point inside the boundless circle, is Avalokiteshvara, Logos verb. The primordial mind cannot never be understood. It cannot be understood nor can it be limited to a place. Therefore, it must remain nameless and negative. And since Ein Sof, the unknown and nameless, could not be manifested, it was presented as revealing the manifested forces. Consequently, the human mind must and can deal only with its emanation. In Hindu philosophy, it is para Brahman, that is beyond Brahma. They are the higher manifested planes. So here is a triad, the quadrilateral Pythagorean number, the perfect square, which creates the perfect six grain cube. When we see how the reason is created, the reason which corresponds to the immaculate conception. Let us have a look how in geometry this light assimilates what will be the basis for the conception. And now we are at the plane where we can see the purest, the primordial reason of something that will be sometime. The heavenly Adam creates or gives birth through the combined power of the Sephiroth or of the earthly Adam. HVB gives the following figures in the comments. The measurement of a Manginova is equal to 113 times 5 equal 565 equals 16 equals 7. 2 give birth to 3. There is a person, 5, and he is the sevenfold. The 2 gives birth to 3. And this is the person, which is pentagram. And its potentiality, he is sevenfold. And the next number which Helena Petrovna gives us, 565 equals 56.5 times 10. What is 56? It's 11 or 2 principles within the man. The 5 is the cross. 2 principles in the man in the movement of the cross give birth to the third, which is 10 or ray. It turns out that there is a form and not a form. There is external and internal. There is a combination of this and the birth of a force of movement or manifestation. As soon as 3 merge into a single state, this ready state is ready to manifest into form. Forms are conceivable as members of one whole, the Sephiroth from the form of the perfect being, the original man, Adam Kadmon. Here is the correspondence of individual Sephiroths with the outer parts of the human body. Kesser is a front, Chokma and Bina, 2 eyes, Chistan, Gura, Din, 2 hands, Tiferet, chest, Netza and Hod, 2 hips, and Yesod and Malchut, 2 legs. Let's have a look how 7 and 4 may give 11. If we go from one physical plane and consider 7 planes before the physical and after 4 more. Here we see 7 plus 4 is 11, which means 2 rays which form 2 legs or the spiritual cross. Here is the land of Malkut, or a person with 2 legs, which after the cross physical becomes spiritual, we can have this result. This is how the deity manifests through 10 sephiroths, decade, 4 units, and 2, 3 twos. Let's have a look how 4 units and 3 twos manifest through the Pythagorean triangle. The sephiroth of the highest triad is Keter, crown, Chokma, wisdom, male principle, right shoulder, and Bina, mind, female principle, and the left shoulder. Here we may see what can be considered through Atma, Buddhi, and Manas. According to the planes of being, 7 sephiroths on the planes of manifestation. The deity manifests through these 10 sephiroths, which is decade, 3 units, or 3 ones, and 3 twos. The first triangle and the second triangle, their combination, and these 3 twos or 2 triangles, they merge. In the middle we can see 4, 3 twos and 4 units. We can see the great symbol of tetragrammaton. This is the concentrated form of 10 sephiroths. So 3 into 4. This is what 3 folds into 4, or the ray symbolizing movement of logos. This is a transition into the form of the movement of light. Movement 3 and 4 takes and every plane of being, showing the sevenfold nature of each plane. As soon as the sevenfold of each individual plane is collected, the next plane appears, the plane of the spirit beyond forms, the plane of prototypes, the plane of mind and creativity, the subtle and physical plane. At every plane, we can see the itinerary of movement of the light from 3 to 4. Elena Petrovna Blavatsky in the comments mentions the Pythagorean triangle as an expression of this idea. 3 falls into 4. Let's look at the variations of this idea. The Pythagorean triangle corresponds to the planes of being. 3 fall into 4. From the plane of prototypes to the physical plane, 3 falls into 4. Each of these sides of the triangle, 3 falls into 4. The first side, the second side, and the third side of the triangle fall into 4. Each corner of the triangle, look, our triangles are formed in every corner, 3 fall into 4. And this form of the movement of light, 3 fall into 4, and the light is the ultimate truth. It appears or rises when a person's limited feelings disappear and the knowledge comes. The knowledge may come through Paramatma Satya. The astral light is a great seducer of a man's limited senses, unless that knowledge will be uh, achieved by a person through the help of Paramatma Satya. Paramatma Satya is supreme truth, the absolute existence, the key point of the whole sloka. When the heart opens, only then knowledge as the absolute existence of the supreme truth can be recognizable by the higher ego, which leads to the liberation from Maya. And then the astral light ceases to be seducer as the limited feelings of the person disappear, and then the astral light shines with its pristine purity of the sevenfold, the first sevenfold. Your heart had not yet opened for the one ray to enter, thence to fall as 3 into 4 into the lap of Maya. The heart of Mati Padma had not yet opened, because the one sevenfold ray did not enter into the germ. But when the ray pierces the germ will bring down the power of creative power of or sevenfold, life-giving force into the lap of Maya. Dear friends, thank you very much for your attention. Here were the notions that we studied today, and by these notions we were studying the sloka, and I would like to listen to comments of our scientific research group, and I give the floor to Mr. Kalganov, the University, Aviation University of Moscow. Hello, dear friends. First of all, I would like to note that the importance of the next month, the month of May, is very important. As Vladimir Vasilyevich told, yes, the month of May is the month of spiritual practices, the month of ultimate concentration, the months when you have to knock, to listen to the heaven's door and to listen to their message. And I would like to note this very important thought, exciting thought that makes us think from Mr. Roshchupkin and his lecture. I saw a very wise combination of eternal and contemporary. That is, the pictures, the visions of the world are changing. And if Yelena Petrovna Blavatsky had commented or explained the Xian stanzas in the 21st century, I am sure that she would be trying lesser to use the mythological images, and she would have referred more to the scientific knowledge, the quantum mechanics, to the contemporary information technologists. And the specialists in this sphere in the 21st century create the reality, the digital reality, though, yet they create the reality from scratch. They are the demiurgs of the virtual world, and using this knowledge in order to explain the concepts of the creation of the world, I think it is very actual and crucial. That's amazing. As to our theme, our today's topic, I would like to remind the famous polemics in the Christianity in the medieval ages, when this polemics was expressed in the formula I believe to understand, or understand to believe. And for us, and first of all, of course, I'm talking about Jnana Yoga, this Buddhist tradition. The Zen book, Yelena Petrovna Blavatsky told that the path of knowledge is the only way for the Western student. And if it is the path of knowledge, first of all, we have to understand and then to believe. And we are solving this dilemma just as it was solved by a famous medieval philosopher, Pierre Abelard. So I'm just stricken by wonderful presentation by Evgenia Mikhailovna. It is just fundamental and amazing. Thank you, all lecturers. Thank you, Miss Ritva Latvi. Thank you very much, dear Sergey Vitalovich, and we would like to give the floor to Konstantin Zaitsev, the Anakata Lodge, Moscow, Russia. Hello, dear friends. Unfortunately, I am not a connoisseur of Kabbalah nor other sciences that were mentioned today in the lectures of our dear participants. So that's why I would just like to thank the participants. Yet the idea itself of the virtual particles which belong to other planes, I found it very interesting. Thank you very much. Uh, Thank you very much. And today in our scientific research group present here is St. Petersburg, Sergey Fransuzov, the Doctor of Philosophy of St. Petersburg University. Sergey Alexeyevich, we're so happy to see you. Thank you very much for being with us today. Please share your feedback about our seminar today. The theme was very difficult, so the floor is yours. Hello, dear friends. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that the part of the secret doctrines that we are studying today is important, and understanding goes through Kabbalah wisdom. It's the teaching about Adam Kadmon, about 10 Sephiros, as you, dear Evgenia Mikhailovna, and our colleague from Finland, Ritva Latvia, showed us. And it is very important because Kabbalah is not only some Jewish mysticism, it's more, there is more to it. These are very deep knowledge arising to dating back to the ancient wisdom of the humankind, which absorbed a lot of the Middle Eastern wisdom, and not only there. And we see how these very uneasy to understand lines, the concepts of the fourth sloka, second stanza, we may try to understand it through and thanks to the Kabbalistic wisdom. I have an idea to see how and to learn how Yelena Petrovna learned Kabbalah and how it is presented in the secret doctrine. And today's seminar is very productive in these terms. And I don't regret participating. I'm very happy to be here today and having listened to very interesting lectures. Thanks again to all the lecturers. Sergey Konstantinovich, thank you very much. We are very happy that you found something useful for you. I give the floor to Vladimir Vasilyevich. I would like to say that only Yelena Petrovna in her time entered into Kabbalah in order to lighten with the secret doctrine something that was veiled before. She purified Kabbalah when she was studying it. And you know it. That's why the secret doctrine knowledge, which purify all the knowledges, she purified all the systems and other knowledges. And Kabbalah was written considering the secret doctrine in its time. Thank you very much. During the seminar,
As Mr. Hwang from South Korea was speaking, there were several commentaries from our listeners, and the first question was that Mr. Hwang was saying that plants have no soul, and those who are studying the secret doctrine and Buddhism are a bit worried, and they ask why, and why it's such a concept the speaker has. We say that there is a soul in the plant kingdom, in animal kingdom, and minerals, but there are different revelations and manifestations of that. So right now we'll listen to Bela Kuriho, participant, Theosophical Society of Russia, Resurrection Lodge. Yes, Madam Tatiana, please. I'm so grateful for today's speeches, and there is such an energy that came to my mind that when the heart is not yet working, it's a great commentary, because there is only the 25th day that the embryo has the heart beating, and the Sloka speaks of these 25 days when the heart is not revealed yet. There is the moment that I'm trying to simplify the secret doctrine for the people who don't know Theosophy at all, and that analogy with the embryo I liked it very much. Thank you, and the whole lecture is crucial we have today. Thank you so much. Madam Tatiana, thank you so much. Dear participants to the seminar, dear speakers, and dear members of the research group. Today, we thank you all for having come and presented your vision, for having presented your material. You know that following every seminar, we record a quiz with answers to questions, and all questions you've written here will be part of this material, and you can watch it at our YouTube channels, the Theosophy Fund and the Congress channels. We'll make a publication in all social networks, and you'll anyway made it, I think. So thank you to all participants from different cities, different countries, and thank you everybody who were in the whole information field today. Hope so much that the speeches, opinions, and commentaries from the research group will help each and every of us prepare our own part of consciousness for perception of whole heart divine thought, or get it ready for revealing our own creativity potential of each and every of us. The most important is to reveal these opportunities of applying this knowledge in everyday life. Thank you, dear technical support group, Mr. Alexander Kuleshov, Maxim Yedgorov, Yuri Butin, Mikhail Bogatarov, thank you so much for technical support of the seminar today, as well as thanks from the speakers from the research groups, participants of the School of Theosophy who are here with us connected. from active participants. Thank you for this work, dear interpreters. Olga Tomchuk and Alexander Bobko, thank you so much for trying to understand this complicated material, getting ready. I think that it's through your soul that every report goes for being expressed. Thank you for your professionalism, for your sincerity with which you take part in our seminars every time. Thank you so much. Thank you from Mr. Yari. Dear friends, we keep in touch and write your answers. You know our email and our address in the social networks. Next seminar is on 12th May, online class, and on 28th of May we have the great seminar with the research of Stanza 2, Sloka 5. We also have a great international event. As you know, on the 8th of May, there is the commemoration day for Madame Blavatsky, and we have online and offline project altogether. What does it mean? The international white lotus under the knowledge of the world. It will take place in Nizhny Novgorod on 8th of May in Nizhny Novgorod. And theosophists, social workers, and different participants will pass the relay of commemorating Madame Blavatsky all over the world. Please come to Nizhny Novgorod. On the 8th of May, there'll be a vast program. After this relay, online will hold a day commemorating Madame Blavatsky, memory of the world, and the round table of practical application of the Secret Doctrine by HPB, questions, answers, conversations, work material presented in Nizhny Novgorod. So please don't hesitate to come to work together and to see each other, to learn this great knowledge together. Dear friends, on the 8th of May, please don't forget to come online and offline both in Russia. We're waiting for you in Nizhny Novgorod. Welcome all of you today once again. And there is a great seminar we have every time. Every time there is something new coming, something we have not revealed before. And commentaries from the research group are kind of diamonds that bring light of knowledge into our joint picture structure. Knowledge can dissolve even the deceiver, and then the light will shine. And we wish that this hour of the high truth is there for you, so that you operate this high knowledge, not only at our seminars, but also in everyday life. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking part. And probably it's too much for someone to listen, but I'd like to say that every day we have new opportunities coming, and that's the most important thing. Wish you new opportunities every day. Wish you light and love. Thank you.
The Secret Doctrine by Blavatsky. Dedicated to all true Theosophists. Book of the Third Millennium.
Blavatsky only knew